Hello everyone, you are listening to Scenecraft. From opening shots to long takes and epilogues, we examine our favorite scenes from cinema here on the podcast. I'm Cody, here with my co-hosts,
Mark
and Connor.
You can find Scenecraft on most social media platforms at Scenecraft Podcast for the latest news on the show. So, this is our inaugural Top 10 episode. Guys, I think I've probably watched about 15 movies this month to catch up and prep for this episode. Do you guys feel like you were able to get through most of what you wanted?
I feel pretty good.
I've been putting in the work this month too. I think I have 2 movies left to see. All of Us Strangers and American Fiction.
There's 2 or 3 that I wish I could have seen for this list, but I'm pretty happy with it overall.
Yeah, me too.
And as we're talking, Oscar nominations were announced today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, for me at least, I don't know about you guys, this is the first time I've ever been able to say I've seen every film on that list.
Wow.
Good for you.
Which is wild. That has never happened in my entire life. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I got close. I was 2 away, which
so close.
Organically I think is the closest I've ever been to.
Yeah, I was only 1 away. So that's the closest I've ever been as well.
So cool.
And now we're on Easy Street. We have a month to watch, 1 or 2 movies.
Yeah, compared to the past month.
Yeah.
Well, 2023 was a year full of incredible movie releases, which made narrowing our list to 10 entries each a fun challenge, to say the least. And I'm really curious to see how much overlap there is between our lists. So I thought what we would do is kind of go through the ground rules. So here's how the episode is going to work. We'll start with our top 10 ranked feature films that were technically released on the 2023 calendar year, meaning that some of these films may have gotten a festival or a limited release and weren't necessarily widely available to the public, but all of these were eligible for 2024 award season.
Mm-hmm.
Also, for the majority of the categories here, we're going to avoid getting into spoilers to try and preserve that experience for anyone listening who may have not seen the films we're talking about. But eventually we will get into at least one category where we do need to dig into spoilers. So at that point, we will insert a spoiler warning. And then after we wrap our top 10 lists, we have some bonus categories to discuss, including honorable mentions, and then 2 categories called Wasn't For Me and Wasn't For Them. Then we're going to go into our top 3 series projects of the year. We're going to do Most Anticipated for 2024. And finally, the namesake of the podcast, we're going to wrap up with Scene of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
For each of us.
Yes.
And now with these ground rules out of the way, let's get started with our top 10. Mark, kick us off. What is your number 10 film of 2023?
You guys ready?
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's hear it.
My number 10 film of 2023 is Beau Is Afraid, which was directed by Ari Aster.
Oh, yeah.
I'm visiting my mother tomorrow.
I know you are. When you're out there, are you going with any sense of a plan? Hoping for a certain outcome?
Like what?
If the last time you were thirsty, you went to a well and the water made you sick, are you gonna go back to that specific well expecting it to be safe?
When I was reflecting on all the movies that I had seen in 2023, I knew Beau Is Afraid was going to have to make the list. I just feel like this film defies traditional narrative structures and is borderline incoherent at times.
Yeah.
And
True.
we obviously watch a lot of movies here on Scenecraft, so I find myself partial to ones that kind of break the mold and aim to deliver something different. And that's what this movie did for me. In this movie, we're given this deep dive into this anxiety-driven and neurotic nature of Joaquin Phoenix's character that can only be described as a heightened form of reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just a miracle this movie was made. And at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I'm just simply happy that Ari Aster was able to capitalize on his goodwill with A24 and dare to bring this film to fruition. So that is Beau Is Afraid, and it's my number 10 film of 2023.
Nice.
Wow.
Connor, what's your number 10?
So my number 10 film is also Beau Is Afraid.
Overlap alert.
Here we go.
Starting off with an overlap. I can't say I really liked Beau Is Afraid overall.
Oh.
But I definitely liked parts of it. And I, like you said, appreciate the huge swing that Ari Aster and Joaquin Phoenix took in making this. Getting to chat with Fiona about the production design earlier this year was great too. That was very cool. I don't know what this movie is trying to say exactly after, months have gone by, but as an embodiment of anxiety and the overbearing effect that some parents can have on their children, it worked. And I think some of the most memorable things I saw on screen this year are in this movie, for better or worse. So that is why Beau Is Afraid is my number 10 of 2023.
Yeah.
Great choice.
How about you, Cody?
My number 10 of 2023 is Killers of the Flower Moon,
Oh,
Oh,
Okay.
directed by Martin Scorsese.
You got nice color scheme. What color would you say that is?
My color.
I think you just pretend to be so severe. I bet you got a soft belly on the inside there.
Shush on me, kasi.
Oh, you just called me a coyote, didn't you?
Echo.
Coyote.
Cody wants money.
Killers of the Flower Moon is a harrowing movie.
Mm-hmm.
It depicts the brutal exploitation and murder of members of the Osage Nation in the early 1900s. I think there may be some ethical issues in terms of the POV chosen for the film, but what is on screen is visceral, and it's one of the most beautifully crafted movies of the year.
Mm-hmm.
All on this epic crime drama scale. That is Killers of the Flower Moon, my number 10 film of 2023.
Good choice.
Great.
Mark, moving on to your number 9.
So before I announce number 9 for me,
Oh,
in addition to being number 9, it's actually my most rewatched movie of 2023.
oh,
And that is No Hard Feelings, directed by Gene Stupnitsky.
yes.
Spouse?
Currently single. Thank God, too. You can just have more fun, be spontaneous.
Unmarried. Children?
No, God, no. Too young. Having fun still, meeting new people. I love that.
Childless. Why do you want to adopt a dog?
Because I can't have dogs of my own. I want a dog right now.
Well, then pet ownership may not be for you. Actually sound a lot like the kind of person we would normally take a dog from.
There it is.
Yes.
No Hard Feelings was one of the most surprising movies of the year for me. It's an R-rated comedy that actually comes to the table with an impressive number of laughs, and it doesn't just rely on crude humor or gross out humor in the way that I've come to expect with that kind of movie. It's still edgy, but it also has a heart to it too. And it features really memorable performances by Jennifer Lawrence and Andrew Feldman, who are perfectly cast as like an unlikely romantic couple.
Yeah.
I find myself texting Connor an inside joke or two from this film at least once every few months, which is a good sign. So that is No Hard Feelings, my number 9 film of 2023.
Wow.
Awesome.
I'm glad this made it to your list. I know how much you guys love this. It's
I
great.
loved it so much.
It's a bit of an unorthodox choice, but I really want to encourage people to watch it. I think it's still streaming on Netflix right now. It's just a crowd pleaser. Connor, what's your number 9 of 2023?
So my number 9 is The Promised Land, directed by Nicolas Arcel.
Heden er Guds natur i al sin pragt. Hvorfor kastrere et vildt væs, der bare gerne vil være frit?
Men har Gud netop ikke sat mennesket på jorden for at skabe civilisation?
Gud er kaos. Livet er kaos.
Nej, krig er kaos.
This is a brutal Danish period piece with Mads Mikkelsen in the starring role. So, what's not to love? This was solid all the way around. I saw this at the Chicago Film Festival this year. Really glad I saw it. It's a tough story that goes to some very dark places, but it makes for a really gripping watch. I definitely recommend checking this out. That is The Promised Land, my number 9 film of 2023.
Connor, this was one of the, I think, 2, maybe 3 films that I would have really liked to have seen before we made these lists, but I think this is one of those examples of like a festival release film where it just has not hit in any major way, and I just couldn't find it.
You'll have to watch it eventually. It really stuck with me.
I think it releases in February, so we'll have to check it out.
Great. Yeah. We'll circle back.
How about you, Cody? What's your number 9?
My number 9 film of 2023 is Dream Scenario.
Oh, shit.
Do you actually believe people are randomly dreaming about you? You don't think it's because you're popping up all over the news and on the internet?
Well, yeah, maybe that accounts for some of it, but it doesn't really explain everything.
Okay, so you think something magical is happening?
Well, why is it just me? Why not you? Or anyone else for that matter?
Am I sensing a little midlife crisis here?
Oh, come on. You're the one who just bought a fucking Kawasaki.
This is directed by Christopher Borgli, and this movie proves what can be done with just a clever, high-concept premise, and of course, an unhinged Nick Cage performance cannot hurt. Coming up with an original visual system for dreaming, I mean, it's just really tough at this point in filmmaking. And Dream Scenario does that in such an inventive and hilarious way, and is filled with some really great satire speaking to the current narcissism of our global culture. So that is Dream Scenario, my number 9 film of 2023. Mark, rounding back to you for your number 8.
My number 8 film of 2023 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Directed by Joaquin Dos Santos, Justin Thompson, and Kemp Powers.
For years, I've been taking care of this little boy, right? Making sure he's loved, that he feels like he belongs wherever he wants to be. He wants to go out into the world and do great big things. So, wherever you go from here, you have to promise to take care of that little boy for me. Make sure he never forgets where he came from.
It's really funny. I honestly feel like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse wasn't a movie that kind of left me in the same amount of awe like a majority of filmgoers in 2018. But that being said, I think Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse took everything from the first film and just improved upon it. With it being the second film in the series, this movie benefits from having a more established emotional weight to build upon as Miles Morales is pulled in different directions by family, friends, and personal responsibilities. There's no question that we are starting to feel the fatigue of superhero stories, but I feel like this film's use of animation is this endless river of creativity that breathes life into this genre in a much needed way. My only drawback is that it felt kind of like half a film in a way that a middle entry in a trilogy is prone to do.
Yeah.
But that being said, I still loved it. And that is why Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is my number 8 film of 2023.
Yeah, great movie.
What about you, Connor? What's your number 8 of 2023?
So my number 8 is Dream Scenario.
Awesome.
Oh.
And I know Cody just talked about this one, but I also really appreciated the interesting idea at the heart of this, going viral for something that you didn't even do, and the many positive and negative things that could impact your life because of it. I loved the modern social commentary and all the imaginative discourse surrounding dreams in this movie, and that's what made Dream Scenario my number 8 of 2023.
Good choice.
Yeah, very good.
What's your number 8, Cody?
My number 8 film is Maestro.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay.
What's your character's name?
Margaret.
Margaret. Margaret.
Yes.
And you're the understudy. I think you should be Margaret 8 shows a week. That's what I think. Front and center. And if it's fear that's stopping you, Felicia...
There are many things stopping me, Lenny, but fear isn't one of them. I wouldn't be standing here in front of you. Heavens, I wouldn't even be in New York City if fear got the better of me.
So this was directed by Bradley Cooper. For me, this film is moving and very idiosyncratic, going beyond the confines of a traditional biopic to explore the complex marriage of Leonard Bernstein and Felicia Montealegre. And it really captured their distinct chemistry and the conflict that ensues. Carey Mulligan and Bradley Cooper really give their absolute all in this, and I really appreciated the absolute commitment to these roles as they have to age with these characters and evolve through the different eras. So that is Maestro, my number 8 film of 2023. Mark, let's go to number 7.
Number 7. All right, here we go. Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh,
yeah.
So Killers of the Flower Moon feels like the work of an experienced filmmaker, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
It accomplishes so much during its lengthy runtime. It's gripping, yet educational. It's entertaining, but also enlightening. And I think seeing this in a theater greatly added to my experience because it really deserves the audience's undivided attention during a single sitting. So I loved the film, and that's why Killers of the Flower Moon is my number 7 film of 2023.
Nice.
Yeah.
Connor, what's your number 7 film?
So here's where our top 10 lists start to differ a little bit. Not sure this one's going to come up in either of your lists, but my number 7 of 2023 was May December, directed by Todd Haynes.
Oh my God.
I want to show you something. Joe gave this to me back then. I think it's lovely.
Peace is sitting on a lake in the summertime. Peace is a Coca-Cola on a hot summer day. Peace is being with you.
The assignment was, what is peace?
There we go.
Yeah, this one really worked for me. It felt like such a smart way to comment on just our collective obsession with true crime, how we consume tragedy and pop culture. The way Todd Haynes pulled this off by making a movie for Netflix about the making of a movie of an infamous story that filled tabloids for years was just really interesting to me. 3 great performances, Julianne Moore, Natalie Portman, Charles Melton, and such a unique tone. Really liked this one. So that is May December, my number 7 of 2023.
So glad you liked it. I really did like it too. And I know it was completely intentional, but the score just really took me out of it. I know it was a choice and I admire that choice, but that I think was the thing keeping me from really loving the film.
As soon as you hear a character talking about running out of hot dogs and then you hear this like slam on a very dramatic piano, you kind of know what movie you're in for.
Right.
And to your point, Connor, like if it works for you, it's going to be like a wild ride and a great experience.
Yeah.
But like, I don't want to yuck your yum, and I'm really glad that you loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. I feel the same way about you liking Maestro. So I think we're all glad for each other.
Shots fired.
What's your number 7?
My number 7 is Poor Things.
Oh, okay.
Wedderburn became much weepy and sweary when he discovered my whoring.
I find myself merely jealous of the men's time with you, rather than any moral aspersion against you. It is your body, Bella Baxter, yours to give freely.
I generally charged 30 francs.
Well, that seems low.
This was directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, and I just think this movie is wild.
Mm-hmm.
And above all else, I really admire how it's trying to do something. It is a technical feast, It showcases bold and bizarre stylistic choices. And of course, it's bolstered by an Emma Stone performance that I can really only describe as an astonishing feat of acting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that is Poor Things, my number 7 film of 2023.
Nice.
Mark, back to you. Number 6.
Here we go. So my number 6 film of 2023 is Priscilla, directed by Sofia Coppola.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I'm leaving our marriage.
You out of your mind? You have everything a woman could want.
We're living separate lives.
Have I lost you to another man?
You're losing me to a life of my own.
So, acting in a direct contrast to last year's Elvis, Priscilla, I feel like, provided this much needed opposing perspective. I just find the idea of focusing on a global icon's significant other to be this unmined territory for film. I think all too often we're treated to these biopics that feature a thankless role of the significant other who is either portrayed as one of the following: an unexplained source of inspiration, blindly over-supportive, or a creative block holding the performer back. But with Priscilla, instead, it's a lot more nuanced, and there's lots of quiet and lonesome moments that someone in this position would likely experience. And I found Coppola's dreamy visuals to pair perfectly with this film that explores feelings of isolation and consequences of uneven power dynamics. So that is Priscilla, my number 6 film of 2023.
Nice. Yeah, I was glad to see Coppola return to form a little bit with, what we really like of her filmmaking after On the Rocks with this one.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Did you ever see On the Rocks? I never caught that one.
I saw it.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. I mean, it's like, it's fun.
It felt like it could have been directed by anybody, though.
Yeah, that was the same feeling I had about it. So this felt like it was a Coppola film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It was beautiful. I loved it.
Wow.
Great.
Connor, what was your number 6 film?
So my number 6 is The Zone of Interest by Jonathan Glazer.
Wow. Great.
Diese Blumen, das ist ja wunderschön. Ja, die Azaleen da. Hier gibt es auch Gemüse. Kohlrabi, die Kinder essen dann.
I saw an early screening of this at the Alamo Drafthouse, I was telling you guys, with Glazer in a live stream Q&A, and that added a ton to the experience for me. It's a really jarring film to watch, for those who've seen it, but that's more or less the point of it. It feels a little weird to say this, but I think I appreciated the work he and his team put into making this more so than the film itself. Either way, it definitely stood out from everything that I watched last year, and that is what made The Zone of Interest my number 6 of 2023.
Very nice. This is one of those films that I really, really wanted to see, but it's like next to impossible.
Yeah.
Where I'm currently living, so I'm bummed I missed it.
You'll see it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Cody? What's number 6 for you?
My number 6 film is Beau Is Afraid.
Oh.
Okay.
Beau Is Afraid certainly is not an easy watch, as we kind of talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird beyond belief, but it is a meticulous, subversive, anxiety-ridden nightmare. And it is strangely funny if you can stomach all the stress and crazy imagery in the movie. It's hard to believe this weird movie lived in IMAX theaters in April 2023, only to be replaced by the likes of Super Mario Bros. Just bizarre, really bizarre world we live in, where you go from this to Mario. But for those reasons, Beau Is Afraid, my number 6 film of 2023. Mark, we're halfway through. How about your number 5?
Here we go. I think obviously this is kind of the line in the sand, and it was very difficult to shuffle movies on one side of this, but here we are. So my number 5 film of 2023 is The Iron Claw.
Yes.
Directed by Sean Durkin.
Yeah.
Ever since I was a child, people said my family was cursed. Mom tried to protect us with God. Pop tried to protect us with wrestling. He said if we were the toughest, the strongest, nothing could ever hurt us. I believed him. We all did.
There it is.
Wrestling guy.
The Iron Claw is a film about a family of professional wrestlers that suffered an unspeakable number of tragedies. But at the same time, I feel like this film is about generational strife and the need for brotherhood in order to persevere. And as you both know, I grew up a wrestling fan, so my interest for this movie was immediately piqued, despite not actually knowing much about the Von Erich family.
Mm-hmm.
They were a little bit before my time. With that being said, I could feel Durkin's love for professional wrestling really come through with his period-specific settings and in-ring brawls. And every performance in this film is just noteworthy, but I honestly have to say Zac Efron really gets to shine as a dramatic actor in his portrayal of Kevin Von Erich. And so that is The Iron Claw, my number 5 film of 2023.
Great one. Loved it. I just saw this last night, actually. So I'm coming off hot on the heels of that. And probably the most unexpectedly emotional movie I saw from last year.
Yeah.
There you go.
It
Can't
really
wait to
got
see
me.
it in your top 5, Connor.
Oh, I guess we'll see. Okay, so
What's your number 5?
my number 5 is Killers of the Flower Moon
Oh,
by
wow.
Martin Scorsese.
That is a surprise.
I'm surprised I had it the highest out of you guys.
Yeah, high up.
Yeah.
So you guys covered this a little bit, but just setting the scene. A huge epic from Scorsese with De Niro, DiCaprio, and Jesse Plemons. Sign me up. I wish I saw this one in theaters. I feel like I messed up by not going out to see it on the big screen, but Cody, like you said, it was very nice to watch this, curled up next to the fire. It's definitely long, but it covers so much ground in bringing this important, really horrifying moment in American history to the big screen. It makes me wonder how many epics like this Scorsese has left, and it would be a fitting swan song for one of the best to ever do it. So that is Killers of the Flower Moon, my number 5 film of 2023. Just really well done.
Couldn't agree more.
How about you, Cody? What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Anatomy of a Fall.
Oh, okay.
But what you say is just, it is just a little part of the whole situation. Sometimes a couple is kind of a chaos. And sometimes we fight together, and sometimes we fight alone, and sometimes we fight against each other. That happens.
This was directed by Justine Triet. And for me, 2 genres at the very top of my personal list are crime procedural and courtroom drama.
There we go.
Anatomy of a Fall gives us both.
Yep.
And it also examines the prejudices we assign to relationships we know nothing about. It has top-notch performances, and for me, a brilliant script that easily makes this one of the best films of the year, having won the Palme d'Or and a Golden Globe so far. And I think this has a really great chance for an Academy Award of some kind. That is Anatomy of a Fall, my number 5 film. Mark, we're getting close to the top here. What's your number 4?
It's funny you should ask me that.
Oh, okay.
My number 4 film is Anatomy of a Fall.
Oh.
I would describe this movie, and I think I'm on the record for describing it as the antidote to Western cinema, in that it favors verisimilitude over sensationalizing drama. The dialogue feels real. The court scenes feel real. The emotions that come across are raw and unrehearsed. This film just taps into this discrepancy between what we think we know about someone or something versus what we actually know about someone or something. And it portrays marriage as this ever-evolving relationship full of idiosyncrasies that no one on the outside can fully understand. And I found both of these depictions original and incredibly compelling. That is Anatomy of a Fall, my number 4 film of 2023.
We are on the same page, my friend.
Yes.
I don't know about you guys, but this movie made me really appreciate the American justice system and our court system.
Yeah. I completely agree.
It is kind of like a wild
It is
process.
crazy. Yeah.
It's kind of
How
like
different, yeah.
anyone can just kind of start talking.
And you can cite like a novel as evidence. It's like really wild. Yeah. But
Yeah.
very interesting to see it on screen.
Mm-hmm. Big fan of the wigs.
Yep.
Connor, what's your number 4 film?
It's getting real now.
Yeah.
Down to number 4. My number 4 film is No Hard Feelings by Gene Stupnitsky.
Oh, okay.
I was wondering how high it would be. Wow.
So, most original comedy I've seen in a long time. The laughs per minute are insane and it's full of heart. I don't know why this one didn't get more love last year. I feel like I barely heard about it. Loved it. This movie is art. That is No Hard Feelings, my number 4 of 2023.
So glad to see it crack the top 5 for you. I
to.
love this movie too.
It's so good. Cody, what about you? What's number 4?
Well, call me crazy. My number 4 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Nice.
Across the Spider-Verse is what I can only describe as a kaleidoscope of different animation styles, colors, characters, Easter eggs, and even frame rates, all in a rare sequel that is beyond worthy of its predecessor, in my opinion. Most importantly, the movie has emotional weight behind it, and it features deeply developed characters that I don't think you see all that often in the superhero genre. So that is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, my number 4 film.
Awesome.
Great. So happy to see that.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And I really wanted to get an animated film in this list.
Yeah.
There were an incredible amount of great animated movies. I don't think this will necessarily make any of our lists, but just quick shout out to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like that was great. Boy and the Heron, another amazing animated title. It was just like a wealth of great animation this year.
We'll see what takes the Oscar.
Yeah, that'll be a close one. Mark, back to you. We are now in top 3 territory.
Oof.
Top 3.
This is big time.
This is where things get a little tight. Yeah. My number 3 film of 2023 is Wonka.
What the fuck? Not a movie I thought I was going to hear all night. I like forgot about that movie.
Okay, no, I'm totally kidding.
Whoa.
My number 3 film of 2023 is Poor Things, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos.
Hey.
So, Cody, I know you touched on this already, but Poor Things is such a bold and deeply strange film in a way that seemed destined to be made by this director. And Emma Stone gives this performance that I think is probably the best of the year. As Bella Baxter, a fully grown woman with the mind of an infant. And I just really admire her as a performer. And between this and The Curse, she's honestly my favorite of the year, like I said. So as a film, this is a story about self-discovery, feminine empowerment, and coming to terms with complexities of life, all while being told from this grotesque and darkly comedic perspective. I think this movie's bound to ruffle feathers, but love it or hate it, there's no denying that you would probably not have seen anything else like it in 2023.
Yep.
And so that is Poor Things, my number 3 film of 2023.
Yeah, you were spot on there.
Yeah.
Connor, what's your number 3 film of 2023?
So it's funny you should mention Poor Things because that is also my number 3 for 2023.
There you go.
Yeah. So I think this is my favorite out of Lanthimos' films that I've seen. He's really a talented filmmaker, and it feels like his talent and scope of his vision reached a new level with this one. It felt like a modern version of a gothic horror fiction, like a 1800s science fiction, but with a timeless message and style that makes it feel super modern. Emma Stone, like you said, incredible. The whole world they built is wildly twisted and imaginative at the same time. But what else would we expect from Yorgos?
Mm-hmm.
So that is Poor Things, my number 3 of 2023.
Great choice.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
What is your number 3, Cody?
My number 3 film is Past Lives.
Oh, okay.
Are you mad?
No,
Feels like you were.
I don't have a right to be mad.
What do you mean? Of course you do.
Alright. The guy flew 13 hours to be here. I'm not gonna tell you that you can't see him or something. He's your childhood sweetheart. And it's not like you're gonna run away with him. Are you?
Definitely. I'm gonna throw away my life here and run away with him to Seoul.
Past Lives was directed by Celine Song, and I think there is a certain unicorn combination of tones in Past Lives that immediately spoke to me. It's that wistful, grounded script and characters that make it so engaging and cathartic.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention that it is told from a new and distinct voice in cinema.
Mm-hmm.
When you cry hard in a theater, I think you know it's going to make your list for the year. So that is Past Lives, my number 3 film of 2023.
It's a great film.
I'm really glad you connected with this one, Cody.
Thanks. Yeah, I saw it with my wife, and we both looked at each other at the end and just kind of had that like, oh, shit. That was devastating.
It's such a quiet but powerful film.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a really great one.
It's
Good
very
choice.
subtle, and I think that anyone has, not even just in terms of a relationship, but anyone that's been in a situation where you just wish you could know what would have been.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think this film will speak to you in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So really enjoyed it.
Nice.
Mark, we're coming to the end here. Number 2.
Number 2. My number 2 film of 2023 is The Holdovers.
Oh.
Directed by Alexander Payne.
Wow.
I can tell by your faces that many of you are shocked at the outcome. I, on the other hand, am not, because I have had the misfortune of teaching you this semester, and even with my ocular limitations, I witnessed firsthand your glazed, uncomprehending expressions.
Sir, I don't understand.
That's glaringly apparent.
I feel like The Holdovers was tailor-made for me, as with most Alexander Payne films. The Holdovers isn't much on paper as a premise, but it's a film that puts its characters first. I think Payne as a director has a tendency to create films that are both cynical and sincere, but at their very core, they feel honest and human. Thanks to tremendous performances from the main cast, I quickly became emotionally attached to them, and I felt like they were real people with real emotions and internal dilemmas. The 70s aesthetic is pulled off beautifully, and it made me feel like I was transported back in time. It also features one of my favorite soundtracks of the year that's full of all these folk rock gems. So that is The Holdovers, my number 2 film of 2023.
Yes.
Great number 2. Well done.
Very solid.
Connor, what's your number 2 film of 2023?
My number 2 is The Taste of Things, directed by Tran Anh Hung.
Je vous le demande encore, Eugénie. Marions-nous.
Nous passons plus de temps ensemble que bien des époux, à étudier des recettes, à les faire. Ne sommes-nous pas bien ainsi?
Le bonheur, c'est de continuer à désirer ce que l'on a déjà. Mais vous ne vous êtes jamais eu.
I know you guys haven't seen this yet, but this was one of my favorites at the Chicago Film Festival this year, and Tron was there in person for a Q&A, which was very cool. Everything about this film is masterfully done. I can't wait for you guys to see it and to chat about it. The story, the cinematography, the performances, the food. My God, the food is incredible. Beautiful film and beautiful filmmaking. Loved it. Go see it. That is The Taste of Things, my number 2 film of 2023.
And Connor, is there a lot of like plot, or is it kind of like Chef's Table mixed with like a fly on the wall? Because I've seen the trailer. I know it's like about a relationship and the food between them, really, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a plot. Food is central to it, of course, just given the nature of their work, but there is definitely a plot. It's based on the marriage or relationship of these two main characters.
Biggest regret so far of making this list is that I could not consider this one just because
I know you both will really like it.
Can't wait.
I think we're going to have to cover it in a future episode, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
How about you, Cody? What's your number 2?
In a rather late change to my list, my number 2 is All of Us Strangers.
Wow.
They say it's a very lonely kind of life.
They don't actually say that anymore.
So you're not lonely?
If I am, it's not because I'm gay. Not really.
Not really.
This was directed by Andrew Haig. This movie was devastating on an emotional level I have not experienced in forever. If you don't know what the film is about and you're listening to this, I suggest you avoid looking it up altogether. Just go see it. And as I was texting you guys about, ideally alone.
Okay.
This is kind of a movie you see alone as an introspective experience. It bends between different genres. The look of the film is surreal. And there are performances on display here that are really just transcendent. This was a cinema experience I will never forget. And that is All of Us Strangers, my number 2 film of 2023.
Very nice. I have to come clean about something.
Oh.
I saw this movie last night in preparation for today's show.
My God.
So we will have to discuss that later on for sure.
Well, okay. How soon are we going to discuss it? Is that a little tip?
Yeah. Are we talking about in the next 30 seconds or in the next 15
You'll have to
minutes?
wait and see.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
okay.
I think we may find out right now because, Mark, we are on to you for your number 1 film of 2023.
So my number 1 film of 2023 is Dream Scenario.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. So this was a very tough decision for me because I honestly loved Dream Scenario and the Holdovers equally for their own specific reasons. But for me, Dream Scenario had the slight advantage due to the fact that it felt more of our time and it addresses the ups and downs of fame in a way that felt particularly relevant to today's society. Nick Cage is perfectly cast as Paul Matthews, this innocuous and harmless figure that randomly appears in people's dreams without reason. I think Borgley's use of dreams as a backdrop for his character to start interacting with people is so clever because it's one space that we have very little control over. You can't tell someone who or what to dream about. It's this powerlessness that is central to the story, and it lends itself to a really interesting conflict. I think it speaks to the cycle of virality that people on the internet can find themselves in, and how a lot of the times this exposure can have unintended consequences, whether they are deserved or not. And in summary, it's such an imaginative, original film with something to say, and that's why Dream Scenario is my number 1 film of 2023.
Oh, awesome. I'm so happy to see that as your number 1.
Totally agree, Connor. And it's very inspired that you would pick something with a completely original premise, not based on like previous IP, and it's a nice, like, tight film. And it's just so perfectly crafted, and so glad it made your number 1. That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
Connor, what's your number 1 film of 2023? I have an idea what it might be.
This was tough, but I'm sure you guys see the writing on the wall. My number one film of 2023 is The Holdovers.
There we go.
Directed by Alexander Payne.
Boom.
I loved this. I think it's going to be a staple of every holiday season for me moving forward.
Yep.
It's a home run from Payne that I really connected with the most out of everything that I saw last year. Tight story, spot on casting, smart writing that lets the actors shine. This is well-crafted, thoughtful filmmaking, and everything about this was done so perfectly. That is The Holdovers, my number one film of 2023.
Very nice. Can't fault you for that one. It's
I know. Yeah.
I literally had to rewatch both Dream Scenario and The Holdovers to make my decision.
Oh,
because
really?
I was
Wow.
changing them back and forth every day. So it was a very tough decision.
It's a tight race.
Mine has been pretty set in stone, I think, since I saw it.
Mm.
What about you, Cody? What's your number one?
Well, Connor, I don't blame you at all.
Okay.
Because my number one film is also The Holdovers.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes.
So, amidst some of the best needle drops I've ever heard in a film, like you mentioned, Mark, some great folk music, the song Crying, Laughing, Loving, Lying was prominently featured in this movie. Well, I cried, I laughed, I loved, and I would be lying to myself if I put The Holdovers in any spot but number one.
Love it.
It's amazing. Yes. Yes.
It is charming and tender. It is not afraid to take on some challenging subject matter. It's a distinct blend of touching performances, seasonal cheer, and cold melancholy that make this not only an instant holiday classic, but my favorite film of 2023.
Great. Very well said.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
good
the
top
list.
10s, guys.
Wow, there you have it.
I just have to say, like, this was an incredible year of movies.
It was.
It really, really was.
Yeah.
We obviously had the pandemic really kind of interfere with the stream of movies coming out. But this year in particular, I feel like there were so many imaginative and original films that came out, and it was just so tough to make this list.
Yeah. A great crop of films. And like you said, Cody, almost our entire top 10 list is original IP, original stories. And we saw that play out on a big scale with Barbie, Oppenheimer. Those movies performed really well too at the box office and connected with audiences all over the world. So I hope that's a trend that we continue to see in 2024. New original stories brought to the screen.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Yeah, the more the better. And you know what? There's room for all as well.
Yeah.
Because I know, I would guess we're all looking forward to a couple that are squarely in the non-original, previously established. So there's room for all, but I think the health of cinema is so crucial based on having original stories from new and upcoming filmmakers, and I'm glad all of our lists included a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was such a great mix of different types of stories too.
Yeah, Mark, your number 1 and 2, Dream Scenario versus Holdovers, they're just like such completely different movies. I can really get the struggle of it's like, well, like neither is objectively better necessarily, but like what has the slight edge for you as your favorite?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that concludes our top 10 list. So let's move on to some of the other categories. We're going to first do honorable mentions. This will be unranked from all three of us. So the plan is just to kind of give 3 honorable mention films and then just kind of do open discussion. Is that cool with you guys?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, and the way we're defining honorable mentions is just some films that we loved and wanted to call out, but maybe they just didn't quite crack our top 10 list. So Mark, start us off here with your 3 honorable mentions.
Would love to. So my honorable mentions of 2023 include Asteroid City.
Nice. Yep.
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1
Nice.
and Oppenheimer.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Great.
How about you, Connor? What are yours?
My 3 are The Iron Claw,
Oh, okay. There
Late
it is.
addition there. Yep.
Perfect Days,
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
which is another one that I saw at the film festival. I really liked. Excited for you guys to see it. And You Hurt My Feelings.
Oh, nice.
Really
It's been a
enjoyed
while
that one.
since we talked
Yeah,
about that.
good.
Yeah.
Good sleeper from last year.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I kind of forgot about that movie because I feel like it was released halfway through the year.
Yeah, like May-ish last year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. It was that long ago?
Time flies.
Yeah. Jeez.
What are yours, Cody?
My honorable mentions are Connor, as you mentioned in your list, The Zone of Interest,
Oh, mm-hmm.
Godzilla -1,
Okay.
Cool.
and Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Nice.
Yeah.
I need to
Cody,
see that still.
Yeah, I feel like your honorable mention list is great. I haven't seen Zone of Interest, and I was so curious to see if Godzilla -1 was going to make your top 10 or not. I really wanted to see that one, but I couldn't.
It was so close to
Wow.
ultimately it just comes down to you looking at the list and saying, did not even enjoy, but can I responsibly put this film ahead of, your number 10? And for me, my number 10 was Killers of the Flower Moon.
That's
So
tough. Yeah.
it was just sort of like, I loved every film in my top 10 and in my honorable mentions. I just couldn't put it ahead of a movie that's doing what it did, its message and its craft and the epic nature of it all. I just couldn't do it. And so it's squarely sitting high in the honorable mentions for sure.
I really want to see this one. Cody, I know you spoke so highly of it after you saw it.
Yeah. I don't know anyone who has not enjoyed it to some degree. And I think if you go into it accepting like this is a Godzilla movie and there's going to be some level of like cheese to it, I think in like the performances in particular, it's just such a fun ride. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Cool.
Yeah. Cody, your mention of Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret is another great one. I really enjoyed that film too. It had such a unique stylistic flair to it, and it had some great performances. I loved Rachel McAdams in that movie.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad you included that.
She's great.
I loved that movie. After having covered the Mission Impossible train sequence with you guys earlier this year, I was really glad to see it on your list, Mark, because it's just such a fun movie. Maybe it's not like at Fallout level,
Sure,
but it is still like a great Mission Impossible entry and has some of like the best set pieces of the year.
Oh man, they
It's
just
crazy.
raised the bar every installment of the franchise.
Yeah.
I actually feel a bit bad for Mission Impossible because they were right up against Oppenheimer with that IMAX release window, and I feel like it just like didn't give them their due being up against Oppenheimer and Barbie.
It was a crowded summer in that way.
Yeah.
Connor, I'm glad to see the Iron Claw made your honorable mentions.
Man, it was very, very good. So glad I saw it, and did not expect to connect with that movie as much as I did. It really got me. Definitely teared up in the theater by myself.
Connor, really curious about Perfect Days. This is set in Tokyo, right? About a man who is like a custodian to a number of different like public toilets throughout the city. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a really quiet, introspective film about how an introverted man observes and engages with life. I think this is my first Wim Wenders movie, and I can't wait to check out more of his work. So he's a German director, but he actually made this for the country of Japan. It's a Japanese film. I can't wait to check out more of his work. I really was interested by it, and it stuck with me. I think you guys will both be interested by it. Cody, maybe you a little more so than Mark. I don't like mean anything by that. Just like it's got the introspective sort of quality to it, very quiet, slow.
You
but
haven't
it's
seen
great.
Paris, Texas yet, have you?
I need to. I
Oof.
think it's gonna be in some theaters around
Oh,
me
wow.
somewhat soon, so I might go out and see it.
Yeah, you definitely should. It's an incredible movie.
Mark, I'm really glad that you have Oppenheimer on your list
Yeah.
because it felt
Somebody
weird.
had to.
Yeah,
I
somebody
know.
had to.
It was like painfully absent, I feel like, in our top
Yeah.
tens.
Yeah. And it is a really impressive movie.
Yeah.
I have to say, I am banking on and hoping Ludwig Göransson wins for Best Original Score. I just thought it was mind-blowing and like truly added to the character of that film, especially during the Trinity detonation sequence. It was just like, God, some of the best music I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was
Definitely.
great. Best Picture is going to be such a toss-up. I really am not sure which direction it's going to go.
I'm calling it now. I'm thinking Oppenheimer.
I think it will be Oppenheimer. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's
Okay.
I could definitely see that.
I just think it has so much momentum behind it in terms of like award season, and like it makes sense to give it to that film. And how like the world right now is just on the precipice of like disaster, and it's kind of prescient in that way. And I feel like it makes sense, and it would be like a common vote for Academy members.
Yeah.
You guys are going to have to eat your shoe when it's Barbie.
It might be. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, you never know. I actually really like Barbie, but
me too.
Yeah, me too. Not to comment on one of my own honorable mentions, but I also wanted to give a shout out to Asteroid City.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great movie, and I think it was actually one of the movies, in my opinion, that was snubbed at the Oscars this year. I think it should have at least gotten a production design.
Yep.
Because it's truly
100%.
incredible. All the different sets and yeah.
Yeah. And Connor, definitely want to bring up You Hurt My Feelings.
I loved it. Nicole Holofcener makes great films. I could watch like 10 more movies that she makes with that same universe of characters. It just feels like she really gives us a great slice of life, and it feels like real people. She's so good at writing real people. So every couple of years she puts out a film, and they're always great.
Yeah. Well, do we feel like we kind of covered our honorables? Cool. Okay. Well, let's move on to the next category, which we are going to call Wasn't For Me. And this category and the next category are inspired by the Long Hiatus Film Spotting SVU podcast. The idea is that we'll each choose a movie that was maybe acclaimed or hugely hyped in some way in 2023, but we didn't end up connecting with it for one reason or another. Or maybe it's just a film that didn't live up to our expectation in some way. So, Mark, with that said, what movie just wasn't for you in 2023?
So the movie that was not for me in 2023, as I'm sure will be no surprise to you guys, was How to Blow Up a Pipeline.
Oh.
So I've seen this film pop up on quite a few top 10 lists, and I feel like I'm just missing something. It's almost like a frustration with myself in a way, because I'll start off by saying that I am 100% absolutely for raising awareness of environmental concerns. It's a topic that my wife and I take pretty seriously. And that being said, I just feel like this film, or this story as a film, it just didn't quite work for me. It just felt like it was overstuffed with characters whose motivations and absolutely nothing else are revealed in a series of flashbacks that just interrupt the momentum of the narrative. It'd be like, I think there's something crazy like 8 to 10 characters, all of which just get like a very quick flashback. And the overall experience just felt really melodramatic in a soap opera way, but not in like a intentional May, December kind of soap opera way. But I am apparently in the minority of people that feel this way. Cody, I know you watched this film. What did you think?
I did, and this is probably one of, our more fiery group chats, after. And
I'm just the observer. I haven't seen it, so
yeah, Connor,
I'm going
you
to be
need
the tiebreaker, I guess.
Yeah, as Mark put it, you need to be the tiebreaker, but I didn't love the film either. Like, I'm kind of middling on it. I just didn't feel as strongly as you did. And I definitely take your point about the flashbacks, because I do think that was a disruptive issue in the way that was structured. And to me, it almost felt like a Slumdog Millionaire-esque, like you're kind of checking a box to like very conveniently fill in information that's currently happening. It's like, oh, you got this trivia question correct. Now we need to see what lived experience you have to know the answer to that question.
Right, exactly.
It worked better in Slumdog, I think.
Yeah.
But I was on board with the driving score leading up to that, and I thought it was fine. I thought it was fine.
Well, I'm glad you felt that way about it. I'm assuming it reads better as a book than it did a film.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Connor, what about you?
So the one that wasn't for me, probably won't be much of a surprise to you both, is Saltburn.
Yes.
By Emerald Fennell. This one really wasn't for me. What was the point? I mean, I guess it works if you're just there for the vibes, the music, the mystery, or maybe you're just there for Jacob Elordi and Barry Keoghan, but there's really nothing there underneath all of that. I think what made it especially, somewhat disappointing was how along for the ride I was, up until I realized that it was just giving us empty provocations instead of anything meaningful to think about. I was really hoping for something better than whatever this was, especially, really, really loving and connecting with Promising Young Woman. So Saltburn is by far the one that wasn't for me out of everything I saw last year.
Yeah.
I think we kind of all probably agree with you on this to differing levels. Because I felt kind of cheated by the end of that movie.
Yeah.
I feel like it imitated so many other movies that had a similar conclusion, but felt way more earned. And were also commenting and giving some sort of worldview or perspective that this one just kind of lacked.
Yeah. I will say, like, Emerald Fennell, great job choosing the music, the soundtrack of the whole thing. It was beautiful to look at, but it almost was like an empty vessel in that sense.
I'm probably the most positive on it, I'd say then. But again, I'm probably somewhere in the middle of like the critical reaction. But speaking to the category, Connor, I know a lot of people who loved it.
Yeah, me too.
At least it's providing a really provocative conversation amongst moviegoers in like, you don't think so, Mark?
I guess yes, but that is the bare minimum of like what it kind of does.
Yeah, I mean, the conversation I've heard around it is like, I think people started to hear that it was, quote unquote shocking, and then they're like, oh, it's not shocking. Like, that's, you think that was shocking? Like, I've seen way worse stuff than that. And it's like, well, okay, well, I guess it's just sort of, if that's the conversation around it, then
I really enjoyed certain aspects of the film. I just wish it had taken it all the way to like a more satisfying, cathartic end, especially the third act.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want it to come across as like me ragging on it, because I enjoyed probably 3/4 of the movie. It's just the ending I feel like was really insulting in some ways.
How about you, Cody? What wasn't for you this year?
Well, Ferrari was not for me. At all.
Wow.
At all. And I picked this not, again, like you said, Mark, not to rag on something, but just with some of the critical reception it's been getting, with saying like it's a really compelling drama, it does interesting things for the biopic genre. It's just like, no. I really like Michael Mann as a filmmaker. I just think this was a huge miscalculation, and I don't understand what was behind all of these baffling creative decisions leading into Ferrari. And then the movie itself feels emotionally flat and technically messy.
Yes.
It has a convoluted plot that just mucks things up even further. This one just wasn't for me, despite the general positivity surrounding the film.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Cody. Adam Driver did a great job portraying Enzo,
Mhm.
but I just feel like the character or the person, I'm not really, I haven't really read up too much on him. He just seems so irredeemable in the movie, and I know it's kind of a meditation on, a driving passion, kind of being fully focused and in on one thing, but it just didn't make for a good film, in my opinion.
I haven't seen this one, so I feel like, again, after hearing you guys talk about this one, not really that inclined to see it, but I am kind of interested in seeing How to Blow Up a Pipeline, just to be the tiebreaker.
You have to.
All right. Well, moving out of that slightly negative category into something a little more fun and positive, maybe promoting some lesser known films in a category we're going to call Wasn't For Them. And that this is sort of the inverse category. It's essentially a most underrated, a movie that we enjoyed that others didn't, or maybe even a movie we didn't have much hope for, but it exceeded our expectations. Mark, what is that movie for you?
So my movie that wasn't for them would be Guy Ritchie's The Covenant.
Whoa, okay. Wow. Oh, never
Yeah,
saw it.
kind of an off the radar choice,
Interesting.
and for that reason alone, I chose this film because it actually caught me off guard. Ritchie released 2 films last year. This film and Operation Fortune, which basically received no press whatsoever. And so I don't know if that kind of deflated this film a little bit. But I really wasn't expecting much from this. And I honestly believe it delivered some of the most tense sequences of the year. It's a modern war film, but it's told from the perspective of a translator, which helps differentiate it from the sea of other war movies that are out there. I really hope people see this movie because I thought it was really good in my eyes. I know that neither of you guys saw it, but
Oh, no.
I really enjoyed it.
No.
Now that it's officially on your list, I will watch it.
Yeah, me
I-
too.
you know, yeah. I didn't know you enjoyed it that much. That's great.
Me either. I remember you talking about it after you had seen it, but I didn't know it stuck with you this much.
Mhm.
It's funny. I know we have talked about how important names can be in making me want to see them. And I feel like Guy Ritchie's The Covenant is just, it just does nothing for me.
Connor.
Like it kind of actively unsells it.
Dude.
Yeah, I think it's an incredibly goofy title. I don't know why they have Guy Ritchie's. I mean, The Covenant alone is kind of generic sounding, I guess.
I think we all know why it has Guy Ritchie's. We know
Yeah.
like what was behind that decision. But
Right.
it's like sometimes it's just not worth it, guys.
Connor, what about you? What's your choice?
So my wasn't for them pick is May December by Todd Haynes.
Huh.
Interesting.
So I just looked this up and it has a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, but a 67% audience score, which I found kind of interesting. Like that's a pretty big gap.
Mhm.
This was number 7 in my top 10. And like I said, the unsettling mood and tone that Todd Haynes creates here, it felt like he tapped into something new. May December was for me maybe the most underrated or misunderstood movie that I saw from last year.
This is a really interesting choice, Connor, not only because it's on your main list as well, but I
Yeah.
think this could also fit into the wasn't for me category.
Oh, okay.
For me.
Yeah.
Because I feel in some ways the opposite, like seeing that 90 whatever percent on Rotten
Yeah.
Tomatoes, I'm like, wow, people really loved it. And like, I just didn't
That's the critic score.
get it. Yeah. The critic score. And just, I guess just seeing the critical response at that 90 so percent,
Mhm.
I just kind of felt like, what am I missing? Like this wasn't
Sure.
for me. So it's a really like polarizing movie in that way.
It is.
Yeah, that could be in a number of categories. That's pretty cool.
How about you, Cody? What is your wasn't for them pick?
Mark, this is a shout out to you because my wasn't for them is Asteroid City.
Oh,
There you go.
okay.
a Wes Anderson film is always going to be in the conversation, in the cinematic zeitgeist culturally. But in recent years, it just seems that several of his films have almost become parodies of themselves and really push style over substance. Many critics and filmgoers thought the same of Asteroid City, I think. And for me, it was actually a step back in the right direction toward an era of prime Anderson. Sure, it has plenty of issues, and it still places priority on this immaculate Andersonian design, but I do feel like the movie shows a filmmaker reckoning with his creative impulses and the burden of control and the subsequent loneliness that stems from that. And I loved almost all of the performances, particularly Jason Schwartzman, who still manages to pack an emotional wallop in the movie despite playing a deadpan performance. Sure, Asteroid City isn't one of my favorite Wes Anderson films ever, but I think it does have a lot of heart. And I was so glad to see Anderson finally tackling the American West, which is why I was really disappointed, as you mentioned earlier, Mark, to see that it didn't even get a production design nomination in this year's Academy Awards, which I thought was just a shoo-in.
Right, me too.
Right.
And it also just seems like the general film community response was lukewarm with this film at best. So, Asteroid City, this is my wasn't for them pick.
That's a great pick, Cody. It's interesting because, like you said, with Wes Anderson just continuing to put out so many like highly polished, immaculately produced and designed pieces, it's almost like people are becoming indifferent or like used to that level of quality. Whereas if it was just a one-off from another director, it's like that would definitely make a splash because of how much work and thought and craft is put into it.
All right, well, great picks. That was the wasn't for them category. We're going to move on next to our top 3 series projects of 2023. You know, we just can't do a year in review episode without talking about our favorite series projects. As a podcast, we mainly cover scene analysis for feature films, but we may actually introduce episodic scenes in the future. Connor, I know like you've talked about being interested. I think we all are interested in this. And we'll do that if something really stands out to us. So with that said, here are our top 3 series projects, starting with Mark.
My number 3 favorite series of 2023 was Fargo season 5.
Oh, wow.
I really need to watch this.
I got to watch this.
Yeah, the finale aired last week, so I got it just in time.
Nice.
And we can kind of go through some of these choices in a little bit. My number 2 choice was The Curse.
Nice.
With Emma Stone and Nathan Fielder. And my number 1 choice of 2023 favorite series would be Beef.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah. What about you, Connor?
So my number 3 series of 2023 is Beef.
Oh.
By Lee Seung-jin. My number 2 series is Fliplanthropy.
Okay.
AKA The Curse. By Nathan Fielder and Benny Safdie. And my number 1 series of 2023 is Succession, season 4. Created by Jesse Armstrong.
Wow, great choices.
What about you, Cody?
My number 3 series of 2023 is Jury Duty.
Nice.
Very nice.
Glad that got a shout out.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about Gene Stupnitsky earlier with No Hard Feelings. I mean, Gene had a great year.
He did.
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah.
He brought home the goods.
He did. And then my number 2 series was The Last of Us.
Nice. That was a great one.
Then moving on to my number 1, The Bear season 2.
Oh,
nice.
There we go.
I was hoping somebody would have that on their list.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, we've got some good representation there.
Yeah. I feel like this would have been so much easier if we had 10 slots for it, but
I know.
Limiting it to 3, there's so many that I left off. Like I loved Love and Death on HBO and Platonic on Apple TV. So it killed me not to put those on there, but I think we all have pretty solid lists.
Yeah. And you know what, Mark, just because we are kind of shouting out some like backup series projects,
Mhm.
I'd love to also just mention Blue Eye Samurai, which
Oh, yeah.
is on Netflix. It's an animated show, and
Cool.
it's pretty weird and it's very adult, even though the animation style, it's beautiful, but I don't think it would suggest that it is like so adult and mature themed. Like it's really violent. There's a lot of like sexual content, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
it's very much for adults. And there are 2 episodes in particular that are like masterpieces.
Wow.
Cool.
So that one just fell off my top 3 series list. And then if I could just speak on Jury Duty, because I know
Yeah.
we all loved it, but the premise of this show, it's lighthearted, but it's still really smart, and it's a biting comedy. And I think what makes it work so well is that while the overall arc of the trial featured in the series is so well written, it also leaves a ton of room for improvisation.
Yeah.
Since
Mhm.
the show revolves around somebody who doesn't know that this is a scripted show.
But yeah, this show is basically the Truman Show meets The Office.
Yeah.
In my mind, and it's such a joy to watch. And that finale, you know what's going to happen in the finale, and it is just such a great payoff the way that it unfolds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to hear about some of your guys' other picks. Connor and Mark as well, because you both shared this pick, Beef. I mean, it was such a great series, and clearly is getting a lot of awards love right now too.
Yeah, I think everyone who I talked to that saw this loved this show. The way that it captured the good and bad sides of happiness, kind of asking like what lengths will people go to be happy, and how it dealt with obsession, it felt super fresh. And to see the Korean American experience represented on screen in an honest way was very cool. I loved all the needle drops, some of my favorite needle drops all year.
Oh, the end of episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
The cliffhangers at the end of each episode, and the 2 amazing lead performances from Stephen Yoon and Ali Wong. I'm already a huge fan of Yoon, but I was really impressed by Wong in this.
I think this was probably the most enthralling experience. I found myself waking up early before work just to catch a portion of the episode. And
Yeah.
I don't think there was another piece of media this year that had me so firmly in its grasp in that way. There's just something so magical about taking a really small moment and kind of extending it to create this tapestry throughout the entire series, right? It's like a parking lot road rage incident, but it just is the jumping off point into looking into these people's lives and why
Yeah.
maybe just such a small moment triggered them. And I absolutely loved this show. And I'm so glad it's getting the attention that it is right now.
Yeah, I could see some similarities, Mark, in the way that you really liked Banshees of Inisherin and Beef.
Mhm.
Like they both have that sort of genesis of a small event that causes a huge rift.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
And you guys both watched The Last of Us, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
Last of Us was great. If we, again, did like a top 5 or something, it might have made its way in there for me.
Yeah. It is so hard to do an adaptation, period, let alone a video game adaptation where a player has agency over like a controllable character, and then you're then having to take a gameplay mechanic and turn it into like filmmaking from a certain point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was a huge success, like one of the best video game adaptations that's ever been done. And
Mhm.
episode 3 of this show, which features Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett, it's one of the best episodes of a series I've ever seen.
Mhm.
And I really think that showrunners Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann, who created the original video game, managed to make this about the characters and the relationships while not ignoring the interesting mythos surrounding the infected and this kind of like zombie dynamic of the game as well. It really balances those two well. Just a fantastic series. Really looking forward to season 2.
Cody, what about The Bear season 2? I think you were the one to really sing its praises to me the first. Like, I think you were one of my first friends to like tell me about this show.
I love The Bear so much. I think, we were talking a little bit about genres earlier, how, I think we're all kind of suckers for like a good courtroom drama, a good
yeah.
crime procedural. Like we all love that.
Mm-hmm.
I think another favorite genre category for me is like a restaurant story. Because you're just glimpsing into a different world that, unless you work in that industry, you're just not familiar with it at all. And it is such an intense and detail oriented line of work. I think it amplifies what season 1 did, which was like an amazing first season. But I think season 2 does what a sequel season should do, which is it takes those themes, it takes those moments, and it one-ups them. And a little bit like we talked about in the Home Alone episode, I think we just all have an affinity for anything Chicago related. And
Yeah.
I love that they use Wilco needle drops and the wintry hell of it all mixing with
the whole
like
season's definitely a love letter to the city of Chicago.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm so glad you had this, Cody. I thought the second season was brilliant. I enjoyed it a lot more than season 1, and I liked season 1. This one just felt a lot more character focused. I really liked this season as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm really curious for you guys to go into 2 shows that you mentioned. One being The Curse, aka Flipanthropy, aka Green Queen. I think I was kind of like a little more on the outs with this show than you guys. So I'd love to hear what you guys love so much about it. And then as well as Succession, which I'm still on season 3. So
Sure.
Couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, we can start with The Curse. I think despite a divisive finale, which is putting it mildly, I loved what Fielder and Safdie created with this. This probably would have been my number 1 had another show not come out last year, Succession. But I really think this show was the most original thing I saw last year, just in totality. They explore the idea of reality in reality TV through a voyeuristic lens. We're watching a couple unravel as they create an HGTV show. And we're getting a sense of what their reality really is versus what they want us to think their reality is. I still think about this show every day since it finished. I don't know what it means exactly, but nevertheless, it has caused me to think about it. And I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but Benny Safdie did a live screening Q&A after like each episode at Lincoln Center in New York City, and they've started to go on YouTube. So I've been like working my way through those. Definitely worth a watch. I'm just trying to like pull out any meaning that I can from those things.
Yeah.
I'm just glad this was made. It's safe to say there's nothing like it out there.
Yeah. So we talked about, the top films being kind of hard to choose. The Curse was really right there with Beef for me.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved this show. It's such a strange show to market because it has an identifiable A-list star with Emma Stone. And then it has Nathan Fielder, who has gained a tremendous amount of popularity with his shows like The Rehearsal and Nathan For You, both of which we loved. And you kind of combine those together and you get The Curse. And it's such a strange reflection on reality TV to the point where my wife watches a lot of HGTV. I've never been able to look at a lot of the stuff the same ever since. And then you talk about the finale. It is very divisive, but I will tell you, out of any kind of media moment of all of 2023, I could not wait to text you guys about that the most. Like it immediately had me talking. I had to share it with somebody. And, did it fit as well with the rest of the show? That's debatable, but I will tell you, it is definitely going to make the top 10 most shocking finales in my head for the rest of the time, probably, because it is just so unpredictable and yet memorable. And I loved it for that. And I loved the series as a whole. And I think over time, people who may have not been so warm on the finale will come around to it.
Yeah.
Connor, did you want to talk about Succession season 4?
Yeah, I mean, what can I say about Succession that hasn't already been said? Not only one of the best series ever made, but some of the best writing I think ever put on screen. The fourth and final season, it had such a high bar to hit, and for me, it really delivered. I'm so glad I got to watch it live and experience all the drama and the conversation around the show week by week. I'm so sad this is over. I really miss those characters, as terrible as they are. And that's what made Succession my standout for the year. It's just it was so perfectly wrapped up.
I have to be honest, Connor, the only reason it wasn't on my list was because I figured you would have it on yours.
Yeah, okay.
And we'd be able to talk about it regardless because it almost kind of just defies competition in some
It
ways.
does. Yeah.
Because one, it's doing something completely different than I'd say anything else on my list. I actively would put on subtitles just so I could soak in every single word
Totally.
that they say. One, because they talk fast and I want to catch it all, but also I just wanted to appreciate the dialogue even more. And so if you guys don't watch it on subtitles, maybe try one episode with it because I think it really does add to the experience.
great
And
advice.
season 4 was just the perfect send off for this series.
Yeah. Mark, tell us a little bit about Fargo season 5.
It's a love letter to the Coen brothers and all the different references from their other movies, but it also is just compelling TV. I mean, it tackles so many subjects. I don't want to give too much away, but I will say that it gets back to that kind of wicked and playful vibe that escaped some of the lesser entries of the series as a whole. So I would recommend Fargo season 5 without reservation to both you and anybody listening.
I will be watching this next. I'll probably be trading off between this and Scavenger's Reign.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a Max show. It's animated about a crew that's like marooned on a planet. It is very cool so far.
Awesome.
Let's move on to our most anticipated for 2024 category. Mark, why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
Okay, I'd love to. So, my most anticipated film for 2024 is Civil War.
Yeah.
Directed by Alex Garland.
I knew it.
You probably saw that coming.
You just want Men Part 2.
Big Men fan over here.
Well, I am a big fan of Alex Garland as both a director and writer. Ex Machina, like one of my favorite films in the past decade.
Yep.
I also really liked Annihilation. They're both great films. I loved his FX television series Devs. And with his track record, I'm just really rooting for this one to knock it out of the park. It's coming out during an election year. It's probably going to be decently controversial. And then on top of it, I think it's A24's biggest budget movie. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I read that somewhere. So
wow.
There's a lot writing on it. And I know
Yeah.
after the reception of Men, Alex Garland's other directed movie in 2022, not being as well received, he's kind of on the fence of his role as a director. And so I'm really hoping that this gets a lot of praise and it's really good so that he keeps making these original films because I just feel like he's kind of unique in his own lane, doing his own thing. So I want him to continue doing that.
I'm really excited for this one. Looking forward to seeing my favorite couple on screen, Jesse Plemons and Kirsten Dunst.
Yes, love them both.
Back at it.
And let's not forget where their romance started, Connor.
Fargo season 2.
Fargo season 2, that's right.
It's all full circle.
Connor, what's your most anticipated movie for 2024?
So my most anticipated is Dune Part 2.
Oh, yeah.
Directed by Denis Villeneuve. Villeneuve doesn't miss. I can't wait to see Dune Part 2. I really need to rewatch Part 1 again. I feel like the only reason Dune Part 1 wasn't like a 5 out of 5 for me is because it was only a Part 1 and not like an entire film. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of everything this guy touches. I'm so excited for this. So Dune Part 2, my most anticipated of this year, 2024.
Good choice.
Connor, I think I'm right between Dune Part 2 as well
Nice.
and Furiosa.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, really, really looking forward to this Mad Max Fury Road prequel film. If George Miller still has that incredible energy that he brought to Fury Road, which I think may be my favorite in cinema experience of all time.
Wow.
Wow.
I think I can just declare that. That is the most fun and most in awe I've ever been in a movie theater. And I'm hoping, while trying to keep expectations lower, I'm hoping that this can add a lot to that world and that mythos of this apocalyptic setting, and that it'll do really cool things and have great set pieces again. So, I think no matter what happens, it will be fun.
Yeah.
So, really looking forward to Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
Awesome.
And then finally, moving on to the last category of our show today, our namesake, the Scene of the Year Award. We're each going to name one standout scene from 2023 that really lent itself to analysis or impacted us in a major way. And we just can't talk about the specifics of a scene without digging a bit into spoilers. So, spoiler warning right ahead.
Is there anyone there?
Yes, what do you see?
Spoilers! Right ahead!
Thank you.
Mark, give it to us. What was your favorite scene of 2023?
I'm going to go off the beaten path and choose a scene that was not on any of my lists this year, but my best scene of 2023 is from the movie Maestro.
Oh.
And the scene in particular is Leonard Bernstein conducting a symphony in a cathedral.
Great scene.
Wow.
So, amazing scene in this movie, which is currently streaming on Netflix. It's directed and stars Bradley Cooper. And in this particular scene, we are treated to Cooper actually conducting the London Symphony Orchestra for a performance of Mahler's Resurrection Symphony in a London cathedral. And I don't know how much you guys know about classical music, but the London Symphony Orchestra is often cited as like one of the best symphonies in the world.
LSO, baby.
I chose this scene in particular for one reason, and that's Cooper's performance. What's so remarkable about this scene to me is that it truly demonstrates an actor getting completely lost in a role. And apparently Cooper prepped for 3 years for this role and this scene in particular. And it really shows. I got chills watching him embody Bernstein's mannerisms with a level of enthusiasm that just rang authentic to me. During his performance, we are laser focused on Cooper as he takes command of a 130-member orchestra. And I read this amazing quote from GQ that described the experience as the classical music equivalent to one of those holy shit scenes from the Mission Impossible franchise where Tom Cruise clearly went without a stunt double.
Yeah.
And I think that encompasses this scene perfectly. In addition to having just this magnetic performance, the scene also serves as a climactic point in his relationship with his wife, Felicia, in ways I'm not going to spoil for you. So, if nothing else, this scene alone is just worth watching. I absolutely loved it, and I was floored.
Yeah, it was an incredible scene. Great pick. I definitely think it was the standout for me in this movie.
Connor, what about you? What's your favorite scene of 2023?
Well, boys, I am going with a standout scene from the movie No Hard Feelings.
Oh, yes.
And this is affectionately known as the man-eater scene.
Love it.
So
Love it.
This is not a joke. I was blown away by this scene, and this was always going to be my scene of the year, I think, since I first saw it. I actually got chills watching this scene both times I've seen it. I know you mentioned you got chills during the Maestro scene, so it's the same thing for me here. I don't want to give away too much about it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but this scene marks a turning point in the film where Jennifer Lawrence's character sees Andrew Barth Feldman's character come out of his shell in a way that shows that he really cares about her, and it also makes her realize how much of an impact she's had on him as a person. It's impeccably done. The timing, the camera work, the music, the use of a song in particular, the mix of comedy and drama. It's such a smart set piece in a really smart film. This scene is completely magic, and that's why it made No Hard Feelings one of my favorite films of the year. Definitely watch this if you missed it last year.
Mm-hmm. Connor, I'm so glad you chose this scene, and it was beautifully said. I think that the fact that they took that song and kind of recontextualized it
Yes.
in the
Uh-huh.
scene just added a new layer of meaning to it. It's just such a brilliant use of the song, and it's an amazing scene. So I'm so glad you picked it. An unorthodox choice, but I'm really glad you have it.
Oh, I'm glad you respect it. What about you, Cody? What did you pick for your scene of the year?
My scene of the year, I'm going to call The Power of Love from All of Us Strangers.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
So, talking about this scene in any capacity is a massive spoiler.
Okay.
And the ending of All of Us Strangers hinges on this reveal. So, I'm going to give one final warning to skip ahead if you have not seen this movie. I will ask you guys to please remove your headphones.
All right.
And
I don't have to.
Oh, Mark, you don't have to, right? Because you just saw this. So, Connor? Okay. So, in a major twist, at the end of All of Us Strangers, we discover that in the same way that Andrew Scott's character has been conversing with the spirits of his long-deceased parents, he has also been spending time with the spirit of Paul Mescal's character for the majority of the film, who actually died from alcohol poisoning after being rejected on the first night that they met. First off, this reveal had my jaw on the floor of like the dirty theater, and I did not see it coming at all. And I think the sheer audacity and the tasteful execution carried a lot of weight in making this my favorite scene of the year. But on top of the shock of this Sixth Sense type turn, the knowledge that Paul Mescal is a spirit makes the last shot of the film so astonishingly beautiful. Andrew Scott now has some form of closure and catharsis in his life, having spoken with his deceased parents throughout the film. And with that closure, he's able to comfort the really disoriented ghost of Paul Mescal while passing him into another realm or maybe the afterlife. And this is all set to an amazing needle drop, which is The Power of Love by Frankie Goes to Hollywood, which was so crucial to director Andrew Haig to the point where he made sure to secure the licensing rights to this track before they even started production. Just really cool, mysterious lyrics, and speaks to the eerie tone of the film, and calls into question if these are supposed to be actual ghosts and apparitions or just manifestations in the mind of a struggling man. And the final shot is a top-down shot on Andrew comforting Paul in bed, and the camera slowly rises upward and seems to ascend beyond space and time. This scene, and the whole film for that matter, it'll really stick with me forever, and I hope those who are listening to this got just as much out of that scene as I did. So that is the Power of Love scene from All of Us Strangers. Connor, giving you a thumbs up to come back on.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I will not listen to this until I've seen it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great scene. So
good picks, everybody.
Yeah. Well done on a very successful first top films episode, our first ever.
Yeah, a lot to dig into.
A lot of really exciting movies, as we've kind of gone over already. It was just such a fantastic year for filmmaking. And yeah, as we officially say goodbye to the film year of 2023, we want to thank our listeners and fellow movie enthusiasts for reliving these movies and these scenes with us. What did you think of the films of 2023? You can email us at contact@scenecraftpodcast.com with any of your thoughts or comments. or follow us on Instagram, X, TikTok, or Threads at Scenecraft Podcast for any scheduling updates and news. You can support the podcast by leaving us a review or star rating on your platform of choice. And as always, a very, very special thanks to the amazing Jordan Summerlad for our theme music on the show. This has been Scenecraft, where we break down the craft behind our favorite scenes. See you all next time.